My name is Jake McSheffrey, and I'm the Business Projects Manager at Project Solutions. Our role at Project Solutions is to work in partnership with the South Dakota Department of Transportation to help administer the DBE program. However, our pursuit is to help grow and enrich the DBE program, and we believe we can accomplish that by focusing on the most important element of the program, the DBEs and the business owners themselves. The training we're providing today discusses the importance of leadership. Now, it doesn't matter what type of company you own or how many employees you have, every business owner must be a confident and competent leader. We're going to look at some of the critical skills that drive successful leadership and subsequently safe and successful businesses. Most of the work our companies do come inherent with risks and hazards, and too often we don't fully consider or appreciate the influence we have as leaders to prevent disaster until it's too late. We're going to look at a modern example of repeated failure and break down some key components of being a safe and effective leader. But it's important to remember that these strategies not only make us better business owners and better leaders, but better human beings as well. And so with that, let's get started. Pacific Gas and Electric Company, or PG&E, is one of the largest natural gas and electric energy companies in the United States, serving across California. PG&E supplies electricity and natural gas to 16 million people. That's 1 in 20 Americans. They operate and maintain a 70,000 square foot grid across the state of California, which is roughly the size of New England. They maintain over 100,000 circuit miles of electric distribution lines and 42,000 miles of natural gas distribution pipelines. Unfortunately, they are also directly responsible for over 1,500 fires, 20,000 scorched structures, the annihilation of an entire city, and over 100 deaths in the past decade alone. Let's take a look at some of the catastrophic events attributed to PG&E. You can see there is a repeating pattern of destruction almost on a yearly basis. It's also worth noting that this list does not include all of the fires linked to PG&E's faulty equipment. Two things to point out on this list is that the Camp Fire of 2018 is still currently the deadliest wildfire in California history. And the Dixie Fire of 2021 is still currently the largest wildfire in California history. Specifically with the Camp Fire of 2018, PG&E was tried and found guilty of 84 counts of involuntary manslaughter. And this is one of the few examples in history of times when a company was charged and found guilty of involuntary manslaughter. As a result, in 2019, due to the massive wildfires and billions of dollars in costs of liabilities, PG&E declared bankruptcy. So how does a company that has seemingly limitless money and resources fail to implement a strategy, any strategy, to avoid this consistent and devastating results? It comes down to a breakdown in effective leadership. While there are countless topics to discuss when it comes to being an effective leader, we're going to dive into these 4 topics as they apply to every leader or business owner, regardless of your type of company. We're going to look at critical thinking, action management, interpersonal importance, and cultivating culture. Critical thinking. Critical thinking is a cognizant mental approach to solving any problem. It's a skill that everyone has heard of and assumes that they're automatically applying to their daily lives. The biggest misconception is that critical thinking is automatic. In fact, it is a finely tuned skill that needs to be actively applied to any situation. Because of this, people are more likely to believe they're actually applying a critical thinking mindset to a problem, when in reality they're not. Step 1 is collecting the information. Not interpreting any information, just collecting. We're not jumping to conclusions or making decisions, and we're careful not to apply our own biases or react to the situation inappropriately. We're talking to a lot of people and we're maintaining our composure as the leaders. Step 2 is deciding what the evidence actually means. How are different things tied together and what is actually relevant to us? What are we trying to accomplish? And most importantly, what is and what is not within our control? The final step is to reach a conclusion about what the evidence is showcasing. What new information have you gathered? Does this evidence lead to a clear solution? Or do we need to engage with more team members and other parties? All the while, you're searching for the root cause. What is the real driver of distress or disruption? So, how do you know if you're actually applying a critical thinking mindset to a problem? Here's a 5-step approach to consider when analyzing any situation. Purposefully using and applying these tactics will open your mindset and incorporate a critical thinking approach. Step 1, keen observation. So we need to approach a situation with a very open mind. It's critical here that we don't jump to conclusions. Instead, we should zoom out of the problem and try to perceive the events or processes that allowed the problem to occur in the first place. Don't get too bogged down in the known variables. For example, if you know a specific individual broke a piece of equipment, you want to zoom out and focus on the events or possibly poor training tactics that may have led to the issue. Step 2 is detaching from emotional response. Firstly, it's true that our intuition and our emotional responses do have a place in our decision making. There's an actual science to your gut feeling being right. It's associated to the creative or right side of your brain. However, when you're gathering and interpreting information, you want to do it from a rationale and logical standpoint. We don't want to let our emotions, specifically anger, frustration, stress, or anxiety, pull our brains away from thinking critically. Try not to view the problem as something personal, even though it may be, but look at it as a challenge to be solved. Step 3 is to draw from a wide range of knowledge and experience. This is where you apply all of the lessons you've learned and all the experiences you've had in your life to the process. This step can be either active or passive. The more well-rounded, experienced, and informed you are within your world, the more those experiences can positively affect your decision making. Doing things like attending networking events, seeking mentorship, reading journals, even listening to podcasts help define the way you perceive and interact with the world. And that's why it's important to make a point to focus on personal and professional development. Step 4 is to collaborate. Collaboration with other people you trust is critical. Notice I didn't say other people you like. That's not necessarily as important. You want to surround yourself with people who challenge you, but also understand and are committed to the mission and values of the organization. By doing so, you're able to draw from all the experience and knowledge that they have and bring in more perspectives. The last step is to apply analytical tools. So these are cognitive tools that can be developed to help you analyze situations and think differently about solutions. One of these tools is having the criteria for judgment. We all possess the power to judge people and situations, but to be effective in this judgment, we need to have a firm criteria and non-emotional process in place. Judgment criteria are the considerations or grounds for deciding which of the possibilities or options are most appropriate for a situation. This includes determining what is sensible and reasonable. It also includes interpreting accuracy, feasibility, and fairness of a problem or solution. We don't want to judge situations if we haven't refined our own judgment criteria. Another analytical tool is incorporating habits of the mind, such as enhancing your memory capability. This allows us to not only retain more details about a situation, but also draw from more facts and information that we've experienced. So where did PG&E go wrong with their approach to critical thinking? For starters, they completely replaced their leadership team multiple times. So clearly cleaning out the executive suite wasn't solving the problem. They weren't focused on finding the root cause. Additionally, officials from California actually hired a consultant to monitor PG&E's performance as part of the company's plan to emerge from bankruptcy. And despite the consulting advising that PG&E regularly climb its towers to inspect their condition, PG&E did not start doing this until after the deadly Paradise Camp fire. They didn't utilize collaboration. But the true root cause comes down to lacking the comprehensive information necessary to determine which transmission lines were approaching the point of failure. Despite knowing they couldn't collect this information, they took no action to correct it. And with operating one of the oldest long-distance electrical transmission networks in the world, that's a non-negotiable. The next topic we're going to look at is action management. Everyone is familiar with time management. However, effectively managing 5 minutes does not give you 10 minutes. It's what you do in those 5 minutes that truly matters. So we're going to look at strategies to control your actions so that you get the most out of your most precious resource, time. We're going to look specifically at focus, perseverance, and mental fortitude. The first item is focus. This is the most important aspect of action management and yet is so easily swayed. The first subtopic is to goal orient. We need to have a firm understanding of our goals and dedicate all of our efforts to that goal. There is a famous Warren Buffett exercise where you write down 25 business goals. Now, if you don't think you have 25 business goals, just watch as they add up when you actually put pen to paper. After jotting down the 25 goals, you do some soul searching and then you circle the top 5 most important of those 25. The next step is the most crucial. Avoid the other 20 goals that you didn't circle like the plague. You can't possibly achieve everything if you stretch yourself too thin, and you won't accomplish the most important goals, or at the very least, you'll extend the timeline for completion a great deal. Do not lose focus on what's most important. The next subtopic is to show up. You don't have to be amazing every single day, but you do need to show up. Small, incremental accomplishments add up to serious results over time, but you need to be committed to follow through. The last subtopic is consistency, and this ties into showing up as well. Let's quickly think about the difference between a goal and a commitment. A goal has an end result. A commitment is a never-ending devotion to an endeavor. There is no end point. You will reach your goals, but your commitment to your business, your team, and yourself can never stop. When working with commitment, you're going to have setbacks. That's where perseverance comes into play. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is where action management is so important. You need to conquer the challenges that would otherwise distract you or slow you down. So how can we overcome these setbacks and failures? First step is to get moving. Research shows that physical activity not only releases endorphins, but it helps us let go of stress. And that allows our minds some additional space to think about solutions. And that's when you move on to step 2, determining what is the next step. What new information has been learned from the failure? Where do we need to go from here? You never want to backtrack more than you have to, but you have to take the time to learn where that point actually is. And lastly, learn and develop from the failure. We learn the most from our setbacks, so you might as well get something useful out of it. Referring back to our critical thinking approach, consider the events and processes that led to the setback and think about what could be improved upon. It's not important that you fail, it's important that you learn from your failure. The last topic is mental fortitude. As the owner and leader of your organization, others are going to look to you in hard times, and it's important that you're able to take care of yourself. Focus on the things that you can control, not the external factors. If industry or technology changes are making your company obsolete, how can you adapt your processes to capitalize on those changes? And the secret to mental fortitude is perception. Your perception of events and the world around you is entirely within your control. It's a skill set that needs to be exercised just like any other, but if you practice having a positive mindset and perceiving the negative things around us as challenges that can be overcome, you can become a superhuman of emotional response. And that type of control is contagious and one of the most valued traits of a leader. So where did PG&E fail in action management? Before the fire that destroyed Paradise, California, the company knew that 49 of the towers that carried the electrical line that failed needed to be replaced. But their focus was not on safety. Their equipment and their leadership failed. More egregious than failure is that they failed to learn from their mistake. Time and time again, the same problem arose and caused devastation. The actions they took and the resources they spent were not focused on safety or solving the issue or even identifying the root cause. They did not overcome their failure and their perception was distorted. And unfortunately, many people pay the cost of this distortion with their lives. Interpersonal importance. While time may be your most important personal asset, your team is the most important valuable asset to your company. Taking the time to care for, train, and develop your team is often overlooked and results in poor retention and poor productivity. A leader's role is to lead, and we owe our team that service. We'll look at the importance of both accountability and professional development in this section. Accountability. Care personally, challenge directly. This concept is from the book Radical Candor by Kim Scott. She emphasizes that leaders must first develop personal relationships with their team and genuinely care about them. From there, a leader can challenge those individuals directly and provide hard and honest feedback. Trust and healthy relationships allow room for candid and blunt feedback. She notes that when you hold back the punches, you feel that you're sparing the other person's feelings, but in reality, you're more concerned with what they think about you. The second subtopic is communication. Your team has to feel that they can come to you with failures, ideas, concerns, or just when they need help. And leaders need to do their role in promoting an environment of communication and accessibility. So encourage feedback from your team. Set up times to hear their ideas and their gripes. Ask for solutions and make them feel that they are truly part of this team. This concept also goes into the last subtopic of availability. We need to meet more frequently for feedback than a yearly review. Constant accountability is vital. It's important to take the time to discuss short and long-term professional goals and help individuals visualize their future with the company. Talk through potential career advancement scenarios together and lay out a realistic plan for reaching those goals. Professional development. A leader's role is also to develop their team. And in an industry where it's increasingly difficult to find qualified workers, never mind supervisors and superintendents, it's vital we learn how to grow the team members we currently have and groom them into those roles from within. Now, while there are dozens of different leadership styles and a great leader is able to adapt their style to the individual, we're going to look at the leader-leader approach, which was outlined by retired Navy Captain David Marquet in his book, Turn the Ship Around. This concept suggests that everyone has the ability and potential to lead and make decisions in some capacity. And it's the leader's role to identify and tap into that potential and bring their team to the next level and operate as efficiently as possible. This approach revolves around three concepts: control, competence, and clarity. So a leader must first delegate their authority of decision making down to an individual. This gives that person the autonomy and the opportunity to make decisions and to succeed or fail. And it's important to note that while the authority is delegated down, the responsibility or the accountability still resides with the leader. This gives the individual the confidence to make decisions without fear of repercussions. The next one, competence. No one can expect to be successful without proper training. So competence involves providing the proper instruction, tools, and resources for someone to handle the authority given to them. The goal is to have the individual focus on achieving overall goals versus the technical approach. We're trying to bring them out of that tactical mindset more into a supervisory perspective. Referring once again to the critical thinking mindset, we want our supervisors and superintendents zoomed out of the problem to identify the best ways forward. Lastly, leaders must provide clarity to their charges. That means having the individual understand the organizational goals, the purpose, and the direction. If an individual makes a decision based on the mission and vision of a company and can coherently explain that thought process to their leader, it will help your team arrive at the same solution that you would have. Referring back to PG&E once more here, caring for their team's development and accountability was another shortfall of the company. A lack of a safety strategy and unclear communication between management and field personnel created the opportunity for safety disasters such as these wildfires to actually occur. The company only took action after a major incident. As a result, their response was reactive and not proactive. The thing about reactive results is they tend to stick the blame on anyone in the path, but that's not real and true accountability. True accountability is taking ownership of what you actually caused, not taking the blame for something that happened. There was clearly no real development of the team or benchmarks for performance when it came to safety and inspections. And as a result, the same type of disasters happened over and over again. The only thing that could have avoided these fires and deaths was the team at PG&E, and they were ill-equipped and ill-advised to do so. Cultivating culture. This is the final topic we're going to look at today. Specifically, fostering a healthy workplace and creating high-performing teams. Culture is a very pertinent issue in the construction industry, as it remains a huge barrier to younger generations getting into this type of work. While no one individual can redefine the culture of the construction industry, how we carry ourselves and our companies collectively can. We're seeing a dramatic drop in younger generations pursuing a career in these industries, which means less recruitment opportunities and less work continuity. So, how can we help reshape the construction industry within the community? We can start by developing engagement plans to connect the general public around the work we do. While there are hazards and certain times we certainly don't want people around our work and equipment, we can find opportunities to get people involved and see what we do firsthand. Not only will this help bridge the gap between the general public and the general contractors, it can inspire new people to see the value of the work and pursue a career in it. Another way to approach this task is to get involved with the community outside of the job site. So visit schools, career fairs, sponsor sports teams, participate in charitable causes to showcase the industry. What image do people conjure up when you say construction worker? And how can you change or potentially improve that image? Put your face and your brand on display and showcase this industry. The last thing we need to do is help young people realize that a job with our company means an enriching and career building opportunity. This calls back to the interpersonal importance and professional development of our team. We need to offer more than just a paycheck. We need to offer a lifestyle worth being devoted to. So, what are some ways to create a healthy company culture? Company culture should be exhibited from the very start of an individual's career. Your onboarding process should teach new employees not only about the job, but also about the company culture and how they can contribute to it and thrive in it. The training and support you provide from day one plays a major role in setting the tone for the entire company's culture. Also, seize the opportunity to celebrate milestones and achievements together as a team. Highlighting achievements like finishing a project ahead of schedule helps bring appreciation to the team and builds camaraderie. Another thing to note is that disruptions in a working environment, such as team or leadership changeover, can cause a lot of anxiety. And in the current world we live in, changeover is a common practice. During this time, employees look to leadership for insight and reassurance. So it's important to keep the team as informed as possible during the process. Be as transparent as possible about transitions, remembering the whole may be affected by the change. Encourage questions and provide opportunities for discussions. The last item here is mentorship. Pairing a new employee with a mentor is a great opportunity and a great component to add into your onboarding process. Mentors can offer guidance and be a sounding board for the new team member. And this also helps connect the gap between generations and joins fresh perspectives with tested experience. And don't feel you have to limit mentorship opportunities to just your new employees. your existing staff can also significantly benefit from mentor-mentee relationships, and they'll appreciate the opportunity to do so. Team engagement. The final topic we're going to look at are ways to engage your team. With healthy team engagement, you can increase retention and even attract more qualified candidates to your company. Number one, reaffirm areas of strength in the company by celebrating wins and socializing success. Number two, tie engagement efforts to business outcomes by connecting performance to tangible results such as turnover rates, sales, customer satisfaction, or financial performance. You want to be open and transparent with the success of your company, with your team, and make it known that their individual work contributed to that success. 3, make engagement a strategy, not a singular activity. It should be a routine practice. So make a point to schedule some time on your calendar each week to seek engagement opportunities and feedback from your team. 4, place everyone in the right role. Refer back to your org charts, factor in personal strengths, and decide which people fit with which role that will drive the company's overall objective. Number 5, provide continuous education and training. Upskilling your team is especially important today as technology continues to change how we work. Make it a priority to invest in your team's professional development. Give them the time to attend conferences and trainings and any other opportunities that will excite them about their careers. Number 6, task meaningful work and show how the team's individual roles contribute to the company's mission, purpose, and strategic visions. This ties back into the company culture and reaffirms the importance of that. 7, check in often, again, by having a robust engagement strategy. Regular feedback means faster courses of correction and more candid conversations about performance and the future of an individual's time at the company. And finally, number 8, frequently discuss team engagement and growth. Reaffirm the ongoing purpose and direction of the company and how the team is the main proponent of that success. Their opinions, their ideas, and their concerns are valuable to the whole organization. So what is the company culture like at PG&E? Their mission statement refers to delivering safe, reliable, affordable, and clean energy to the 16 million Californians in their service area. But how dedicated are they to that mission? The company repeatedly failed to undertake fundamental cultural reforms to prioritize safety and reliability. They adopted a reactive approach to emergency management, and in the decade leading up to the 2012 pipeline explosion, findings concluded that PG&E collected hundreds of millions of dollars more than it was authorized to in oil and gas revenue and spent millions less than anticipated on maintenance. It was clear that safety was second to earnings, and the culture reflected as such. Now, while your company may not be in any immediate threat of loss of life, the hazards we face every day in our approach could easily be the difference between a regular Monday and a serious injury. As leaders, we need to maintain our focus on the safety and performance of our teams. Implementing critical thinking, being cognizant of opportunities to practice critical thinking, and incorporating that critical thinking approach is something that we can do on a daily basis. Action management, paying close attention to our focus in putting our time and our efforts into what is truly important and is going to yield the most results for our company. And then when we face those roadblocks, when we face those failures, those setbacks, those challenges, having the perseverance and the mental fortitude to push through. Interpersonal importance, being accountable to ourselves and to our team, and ensuring that our team is accountable to what their job responsibilities are, and then taking the time to develop our team from within, turning someone who's maybe new at the craft into a superintendent, having their goals and their ideologies and their practices align with the mission, vision, and strategy of the company will yield a much greater difference in success. And lastly, cultivating culture. Looking at the culture at our companies, as well as the culture of the industry as a whole. And how can we engage our team? How can we get people more involved with the work they do and see that this job, this lifestyle, is more than just a paycheck, but it's a rewarding, successful career. Implementing critical thinking, action management, interpersonal importance, and culture cultivation are just some of the ways that, in general, we can be more effective in our craft. And while there are hundreds of ways to define leadership, I hope you can take something from this presentation and apply it to your company immediately. Not only can it improve the quality of your teams and the success of your company, it could potentially be the difference between life and death. Thank you for participating in this presentation. If you want more information or you'd like to see more content that we offer here at Project Solutions, please don't hesitate to contact us at dbe@projectsolutionsinc.com. Thank you and have a wonderful day.